Hello, everybody. Can you hear me and see my screen clearly?
Yes, please.
Okay, so good evening, everybody. Good evening. Welcome. So you're welcome to this week's Forex Outlook with Great White FX for the 13th to 14th, 13th to 18th of August 2023. So if you want to find out how last week's Outlook performed, you can go to my you can just stroll down to my YouTube, to my Twitter handle page. Let me see if I can find itself. A minute. Let me see if I can find my Twitter handle. Oh, I think it's closed. Let me see if I, so that
You
you
posted
just,
it, you posted it on your Telegram.
yes, I posted it on my Telegram and I also posted it on my Twitter.
Okay.
I also posted it on my Twitter. So comment. Just give me a few minutes. This new Twitter is giving me a little bit of a showdown. Can't find the way it is on the website is not the way it is on the this thing. So let me just basically, so this is just my Twitter handle.
Okay.
This is my Twitter handle. So last week US 100, we got 80% accuracy, dollar index 60, euro 60, GBPUSD 60, D 60, gold 60, euro GBP, good, GBPCHF, pound yen. The ones that did well was US 100, euro NZD. That one was at somebody's request, and euro GBP. So I do this almost every weekend. It helps me keep on track of what the market has. So now let's get down to what we have for this week. So looking at this week, we don't seem to have major dollar news like rate news or CPI, but we have rate news on New Zealand and unemployment and employment on Aussie dollar. So for those who trade those pairs, this week is going to be a little bit interesting on those pairs. That's for Aussie and the New Zealand. So that's out of the
This
way.
card, there's CPI news on card
Those who
on
trade,
Tuesday.
I don't like card. Okay, there's CPI news on card. Those who trade card, why don't I like card? For you to trade card, you need to keep an eye on what oil is doing. Most people
Wow,
don't understand that. This is a commodity currency.
that's crazy.
So if you're
Serious.
trading this blindly, you're looking for trouble. It's a commodity currency.
Oh,
So if you're trading card, you need to have an idea of what oil is doing. If not, you're just on your own. So that's why I don't like trading card.
wow,
So let's
that's
get down to our chart. So we're going to start off as always with US 100. So looking at US 100, well, not everybody is a long-term trader. So let's start off with the daily. On the daily, we have a shift to the downside. This market is now retracing. You see all this up move, it's now in a retracement because we have a shift on the daily below this level here. If we go down to the 4-hour time frame, you're going to see it clearly. I think that level is somewhere here. The beautiful thing about the lower time frame is that if you know how to navigate your lower time frame, by the time the daily tells you what is about to happen, you'd have already noticed it on the 4-hour. So let me just do small digressing here. So if we now look at this, that daily level, by the time it breaks here, the 4-hour has already told you that it's already starting to happen here. So you'd have been expecting it. So if we go into our candles, the break here, break here. So you know that this bullish move is going to be suspect. And after that, you see what happens. So that's a little bit of teaching there. So now, where price is now is a critical level. Why do I say it's a critical level? If you follow ICT very well, you will understand that swings, that's when you have significant weeks. Significant weeks, you treat them as fair value gaps. So if we look at this one here now, if we pick that's the open price here down to this low, you know that the midpoint is a consequent encroachment. And if you notice, price just tapped to it and reacted from there. So since this pair is on a downside, any rally on this pair is going to be an opportunity for a short. Any rally on this pair is going to be an opportunity for a short. So what would you be expecting into this week? You'll be looking for a retracement. So if we go down to let's go down to the 1 hour time frame, because this pair is, the US 100 is very fast. So if you're looking for a retracement, first, price must not spike previous week's low on Monday. It has to leave it intact. Because if it spikes it on Monday, then the retracement will be very deep. So it has to leave the low from last week intact, then retrace. Then when it starts to now drop, that's within 1536, 15360, that's within this 1536 6.2 to 1514 5.8. That's between these two zones. If you get bearish evidence within here and you start to see a move lower, your first TP is going to be 14966.7. That's this previous week's low and this previous month's low. So price must not sweep this low. If it sweeps this low, then the retracement is going to be very deep. So what you just need to see is something like this. A higher low, then the retracement to the upside. Then maybe depending on when the market decides, something like this, then you can start going down. So this is what you need to look out for going into the new week. But first, the low from last week, I think it's Friday's low, price must not sweep it. That low must not be swept for any reason, must not be swept. Because if it sweeps it, then you're going to have something like, you may have something like, once price goes above this high, then you have a 1 hour change of character, which will mean that the retracement might be very, very steep. So for US 100, going into the new week, we're bearish. So you look for opportunities to sell. Any rally will be an opportunity to sell. So this dollar index is pretty stubborn. Why do I say dollar index is pretty stubborn? Looking at it from the weekly, we can say this is a retracement. But if we look at where price is making new lows. It's not making new highs. That aside, if we go into the daily, it's the same formation. It's the same formation. Because if we pick our feed from, let's use our feed from this point down to this point, you can see that price is at premium level, that's 62% area. But if we now go into our 4 hour time frame, let's go to our 4 hour time frame, we will notice that when price dropped, it didn't take out this low. So looking at it on the 4 hour, this might still rally a bit. But where it is now is where you don't want to, because if you look at it now, let me hide my drawings. There's a fair value gap here on the daily. That's this point, And that fair value gap also lines up partially with the 4-hour. And if you go back to your daily, there is this is a bearish order block. So this may still try to rally. For now, there is no sign that dollar weakness is setting up because this long lower week on Tuesday. So going into this week, what are we going to expect? If we're still to hold the bullish via the slightly bullish bias on the dollar index, remember we have this fair value gap here. So, and price has not closed above it. We need to see price close above it. But I would prefer maybe if it spikes in there, gets rejected, then drops. Then you within this 4-hour fair value gap, you start looking for an opportunity for the long. But the 4-hour, this 4-hour fair value gap, price must not close below it. Price must not close below it. If price closes below it, that depends on what price does first. If price spikes that daily fair value gap and starts to retrace and closes below this 4-hour fair value gap, then we might see price come to this low. But if price drops first into here and finds support, then we're going to be looking at this unmitigated, there's this 4-hour fair value gap here. Price has not fully closed it. So going into the new week, if price retraces, gives bullish evidence, you'll be looking at any of these levels here for price to come into. That is if price knocks out 103.57. 103.57 is the level to watch. So for now, the dollar index, the refusal to move lower points to the fact that this might still try to move higher. But my view on this is still down until 104.69 is taken out, because this high broke this low, and this low. So this high is very important. Once this 103.57, we get a close above it on the daily, then dollar is now fully bullish. But for now, the retracement of this range is still in play. So going into the new week, we're still slightly bullish on the DXY. So like I said, you wait for a rejection here and this 4-hour fair value gap to hold that support, then see if price will rally to this 103.57. A close above it will now confirm full dollar bullish move. So the next way we're going to be looking at is the Euro USD. So looking at the Euro USD, the Euro USD on the 4-hour time frame is in kind of a range, but from this range low 108.33 to 1.1275, this is a retracement. So price is in a consolidation now and is sitting above some interesting levels. There's this unmitigated daily fair value gap that is still acting as support. If you can see, price has not closed below it, but the rejection on Thursday is very strong. So going into this new week, we'll be looking for rallies, opportunities to sell going into the new week. So the best play for it going into the new week is this Thursday's candle. You draw this like this because it's a swing high with a significant wick. Then you drop to your 4-hour time frame. When you do that already, you can find out that there's a consequent encroachment of it, that's of that week. Between that consequent encroachment, you have an unmitigated 4-hour fair value gap here. And if you look closely, it's what you call a balanced price range. One candle up. Let me hide my indicators. This is a fair value gap on this side. This is a fair value gap on this side. So if you're going to look, if price starts to rally, you'll be looking for your short into this area, because we already have a bearish order block here. So you'll be waiting for price to rally here. If it gets rejected, then your first TP is going to be 109.29. Then if it gets very strong, 109.12. Those are your levels on the Euro USD. So going into the new week for the Euro USD, you'll be looking for short opportunities as long as price stays below 1.1065. So any rally on this pair, you look for an opportunity for a short. So the next pair we're going to be looking at is GBPUSD. Looking at the GBPUSD, let me see. GBPUSD is sitting above this, it's still sitting above this weekly fair value gap here. That's where price is. But this pair, long term, we're in a retracement of this point to this point. So on the weekly, we're in a retracement. If we go into the daily, we said price is this last down close candle is serving as what you call a bullish order block. So that's where price is now. But this pair on the 4-hour is reading a down move, and see price is making new lows but no new highs. So for this pair, any rally on it is going to be an opportunity for a short until 1.2995 is taken. As long as price stays below this 1.2995, any rally on this is going to be an opportunity for a short. So basically what you're just going to do is from this high to this low, you just wait for price to rally. Because if you look at it, price is like in a range. Let's go back to this. You can see that price is in a range. That's between this point here. That's 28.88 to 1.2621. Price is in a range. So to play this, you need to wait for a rally to sweep buy side liquidity of a kind, because this is the previous week's high at 1.2818. So you'll be watching for price within this area here. That's between 1.2755 to 1.2716. That's where you'll be looking for a short opportunity and the continuation to the downside. That's as long as this 1.2819 is not broken. So GBP still to the downside. So the next one we're going to be looking at is gold. Gold is still tilted to the downside, but it's sitting within a daily bullish order block. That's these two down candles here before this rally. That's where price is sitting now. If you look at this on the 4-hour time frame, this looks to be like in a range of a sort. That's between 1.1921 to 1.1912. If you look at price didn't close below this low here, and it has been ranging, staying within it. So this is going to be your area of importance going into this new week. This is still down. Well, if price breaks and closes above this high, then you're going to see a retracement into what looks like a balanced price range. Let me pull back my indicator. So where is this balanced price range? It's on the daily. You're going to see it on the daily. So you see it's one candle. So as long as price stays below this level here, any rally on this is going to be sold off. But once price closes above here, then you might start seeing a higher move on price. So for this gold going into the new week, any rally on it is going to be an opportunity for a short. Probably maybe price may try to rally to sweep either of these highs here and then continue back to the downside. So that's it for gold. Gold is still tilted to the downside. The next one we're going to be looking at is EURGBP. Looking at EURGBP on the 4-hour, this pair is still, for now, is tilted to the upside. Let me look at it from candles alone, see what he has to offer. It's still tilted. The candles, not much on the candles. Let's look at the daily. Not much on the daily candles. Not much on the daily candles, but this pair is still tilted to the upside. If you look at price now, price is sitting within this last down candle before this rally that broke this daily high. So going into the new week, you'll be looking for long opportunities on this pair. We have this unmitigated fair value gap here, but the possibility exists that 0.8598 may be swept and into this fair value gap below. Because once you have a swing with a fair value gap below, most often that fair value gap is going to be a sort of magnet to price. So the possibility exists that this may come down, swing into here before a continuation to the upside, probably targeting 0.8701. So for the Euro GBP, we're still slightly bullish on it, given the 4 hour. 4 hour is making new highs, although it's still within this big range here, but we can say that 4 hour is making new highs. So we'll just keep watching it. But I'm of the opinion that this may still move lower into this zone before continuing back to the upside. So the next pair, GBPCHF, nothing interesting on this pair. This pair is still in an ugly range. This pair is still in an ugly range. Let's go to it here. You can just basically see it. It's just still in an ugly range. It's not making new highs. It's not making basically new lows. So on the 4-hour time frame, it's still in a range. So you just basically play the range. That would just be the best play, the range. So we have 1.1235 to 1.1060. So you wait to see if price will come down here, bullish evidence, you take a rally, you buy it. So this is just basically in a range. When price is in a range, you try to take your positions close to the range high or the range low to be on the safe side. Hello, are you all still there?
Yes,
Hello?
I can hear you. I can hear
Okay.
you.
Okay, so that's it for GBPCHF. GBPCHF is still in a range. So the next one we're going to be looking at is the yen pairs. Well, the yen pair, like pound yen has a bullish outlook. Pound yen has a bullish outlook. So if I go to the daily, this pair might still rally. Let me look to the left. And that's the situation with, okay, it has data here. It has data here. So looking at this pair, where he is now is a daily bearish order block. Let me go to the weekly. This is where price is now. All this fair value gap has been closed by price. So this is where price is now. This is where you have price now. So you can see is where, although this is still bullish for now, it's still bullish for now, but this is where price is now. So you don't want to be taking you don't want to be taking a long from this point. So for this pair, you'll be looking for any retracement into any of these 4-hour fair value gaps here. That's between this point, this point, this point, this point. Any of these. So let's drop to the 1-hour time frame. So you'll be looking for any of these to act as support. Then probably if price is to rally, if it acts as support, because you can see price is being rejected here. Price is not closing above it. So if that plays out, then where would you likely be going in for price? Let's see. I mean, this data is way, way back. This data is way, way back. This data is data time frame. Wow. So if that should play out, you'll be looking for this high, and this high as possible drawn liquidity. So any of these, or basically, since because this is from a weekly time frame, this is a weekly time frame. Since this is from a weekly time frame, what you can do is you grade this into quadrants, as from this point to this point. So your first quadrant is going to be 184.57, the next one 185.16, then the next one 185.74. So that's how you're going to play it out. So these will be your levels of interest if price starts to rally. So for the yen pair, that's pound yen, any retracement will serve as an opportunity for a long going into the new week. So you'll be waiting for any of these fair values to act as support. So the last but not the least is Euro Yen. Euro Yen, let's go into the weekly time frame. Euro Yen. If we go into the Euro Yen on the weekly time frame, I see that price has closed its weekly fair value gap, has completely closed it. But this pair is still tilted to the upside, has closed it and a retracement. So any retracement on this pair is going to be an opportunity for a long trade. As you can see, inside, kind of like an inside bias. When you wait for long opportunities going into this new week on this pair, doesn't mean you can't take a shot. You can't take a shot from the current high, but you know the way the yen pair works. It's not always safe to counter it except you're very sure of what you're doing. So for this pair, these are the fair value gaps you'll be watching. Any of these fair value gaps here on the 1 hour. If you want, you could take a short position there, down there, and wait. So this is on your 1 hour, this will be your dealing range here to here. 1.5634 to 1.5922. The equilibrium, you can see there's a fair value gap above the equilibrium. So that would be a good opportunity for a long. So with that out of the way, I thank you all for taking your time to attend. I wish everybody a beautiful night's sleep, a lovely weekend, and a blessed trading week ahead. So good night, everybody. Good
Yeah,
night.
thank you very much. Good night.
Good night.